Today we go over the concept in persuasive communication of pacing and leading. Before we get into the concept itself, we need to understand why is persuasive communication important. When you transfer an idea from one person, when one person transfers an idea to another, communication is ongoing. When there's a vision in your head or in one's head that you want to communicate to someone else, this is where persuasive communication is. That is the art of persuasive communication. Communicating the idea that you have to someone else. There's many impediments to it, as I'm sure all of my viewers are well aware of. You'll hear objections from people. You'll hear them in their head. They'll not be listening to you, really, at the end of the day. So it's how do you break through that? How do you get to a place where they're able to listen to you, where their head, the voice chatter in their head is clear enough that the words that you say are able to go through to them, be received, and they're able to act or execute upon this. That's really what we're learning today. The base of this is the concept of pace and lead. Let's start with pace. What does pace mean? Pace means the speed at which you go at, or the speed at which one goes at. You could talk about this in terms of running. When you have a 6-minute mile pace, that means you're moving at this particular speed to achieve 1 mile of running in 6 minutes. There's faster paces and slower paces. So a faster pace than that would be 5-minute mile. A slower pace than that would be 7-minute mile. The same thing applies for communication. So in communication, people are ongoing at different paces. There's a pace to the way that I talk to you and that you're able to follow upon. So the amount of ideas that I throw out is a pace. That is one pace. On the receiving end, so that's on the outgoing end. On the incoming end, what I hear from you, there's a pace to it as well. Because I'm not going to hear every single word that you say. However, I will hear some of it, some parts of it. There'll be little snippets that I will hear. And this is for anyone, because we always get distracted with our mind, what our own mind is saying to us. However, if you're able to recognize on the incoming side, if you're able to recognize the receiver who's sitting across from you, at what pace they're able to receive the information that you're saying, this is really, really critical, because you don't want to go faster than them. So let's say that when I was talking to you, I could see from your body language that you were picking up certain things, and when I say certain things, I could tell because you were nodding your head, or I would be able to see an emotion that you were emoting on your face or in your body. I was able to tell if you were listening to me or not. If you were in your head and you were looking up into the sky, I would recognize that that's a place to stop my communication. Wait until you go through that thought and then continue along. That's kind of the concept of pace. I'm intermixing a little bit of leading there as well. Now we get to leading. What is leading? Leading the conversation means that I want to take it in this particular direction, and so at every single point, I'm aware of where is this conversation going. So if I see that I'm talking to you and all of a sudden you get sidetracked with something, persuasive communication recognizes it, as we talked about, in the sense of pace. So you recognize the pace that your receiver is at, and then you lead them back to the pace the desired pace of which the idea that you want to communicate to. What does this all mean? What did I really say there? Or a question I'd have for myself is, can you summarize? Because that's kind of a lot of information. To summarize, pacing is how quickly is information sent outwards as well as received inwards. There's two paces ongoing. The outward pace and the inward pace. These two need to match and align. Leading the conversation simply means that at the onset of a conversation, I have an idea of where I'd like this conversation to go, or the direction that I'd like it to go in. And so I will lead the conversation by dictating the pace. So if I recognize that the pace is going too quickly outwards, I slow my pace down. If I see that the pace coming inwards, so there's the outward and inward. On the inward side, if I recognize that it's accelerating, I want to match that. And so I lead where I want to go with my communication, and I follow the pace of the receiver. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and I will catch you guys soon.